What's going on YouTube? I got a 2005 Kia Spectra5 here. It's the hatchback version. And I was doing the motor mounts on this, so I wanted to share it because I didn't find a video. So to share what I had going, I'm doing a power steering pump as well, but I did my motor mounts already. But with that being said, I ordered a kit from Amazon or eBay. I will post that link in the link too, or a few links. I just advise that if you're going to do this, and make sure you look underneath on the rear one to specify what you have, because I ordered the kit, and as you can tell, these two don't look the same. This is what came in my kit. Even though I ordered a 5-speed manual, this is what I had. I had to go to O'Reilly's to get the other one, which is already installed. I notified the people they're going to give me a partial refund for this, but definitely not the right part. Apparently when I looked it up, it says, there's two different kits on eBay too. It says this one shows as a 5-speed and this one too. When I looked at O'Reilly's, this one said for an automatic. Well, I obviously have a 5-speed. But with that being said, we'll move on. So this one, which is the right side card, left side engine, you got to remove your power steering pump reservoir out of the way, which sits there. To get to that bolt, those two, and then I broke those loose so I could lift up that whole bracket. Might be smart to break that nut loose so that you can get that off. I did it outside the car, put it all back together, dropped it in. Used my neighbor's floor jack, which was a lifesaver, but put that under on this side of the engine here, oil pan side or something with a piece of wood. Nothing to lift the engine up, just mainly support it is all you really need. There's 4 motor mounts on this car. You got this one, you got one here in the front, down there. You got the one there on the side, and then you got one underneath in the back. This one, it's where the transmission and engine connect. You just need to do those 2 bolts down there, and then the 1 bolt and nut that shoots across. And that's it. You don't need to separate the bracket that's connected there at all. I started to. You don't need to disconnect that one at all. There's 4 of them. There's one underneath, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Sometimes that may not be easy to get to. It might be easier to get underneath the car, so you jack it up and put it on jack stands and such. Always do it on jack stands. Don't ever just rely on the jack. Safety precaution. This one, you just need 14 and 17 to do all the work here. This one, it requires those 2 bolts there. There's one underneath that little cable there. Those 2, undo that bolt. Don't try that nut. That nut is welded on, so you're going to have a headache if you try to do that. That bolt, and then as you can tell, the other ones come in from the other side, so if you scroll around to the other side, you got to take the wheel off and get inside here, pop these rubber grommets out, and take out the 2 bolts in there. Be advised, it is not fun if you drop that bolt down inside there because it goes inside the subframe. That part right there is metal. You're not going to pry that off or get it out. I had to use a little magnetic tool, reach in there and grab what I needed to get. Pulled it out first try, got it all back in using our jack. Another headache that I had is my jack stand there. I had it 1 notch higher on the driver's side than I did the passenger side, and I think that's what was giving me some headache. So when I readjusted there, everything else started working. And then I just kind of got them all in there, got it all together, and then had to use some pry bar a little bit to kind of get it in the action, and then locked it all down. So pretty easy. 14, 17. I couldn't find the torque specs on this. I always advise you use your torque specs if you do can get them. I wasn't able to find anything. Even O'Reilly's wasn't able to provide the number, so I did it the good old-fashioned German torque specs, good and tight. Don't advise it, but make sure you get them down there nice and tight, because some of these broke off pretty hard. I'm going to climb under the car, show you that rear motor mount, and then some of the lifting points I used with the jack. Alright, here we are back under the car. Here's the front motor mount that I was telling you about. Underneath, that might be pretty easy to get to that bolt, but whatever you do, you don't need to take those off. That's part of the bracket as well. You just need to undo that and the 2 bolts in the front. Not very easy to get to, but because of the fans and such, but you know, I was able to do it with my wrench and socket and adjustable wrenches or adjustable extensions and such. To do the first motor mount, I just put a board on with the jack. I did use my scissor jack on this and ran it across, and just enough to support it. You're not really lifting anything, just enough to support. I don't know if I was using the oil pan, but that's what I used. To do the front motor mount, I used this spot right here of the transmission. Sorry, it's a little hard laying under here, but I used right here with the board and such, and just, you know, held it there. There's the rear motor mount I was telling you about. Super easy to do. It's probably the easiest ones of the 4 to do. Just a pain in the butt to get to. But you got those 3 bolts there. You probably can't see the third one. And then you got that nut with the bolt. You just slide them out, swap, put it back in place, tighten up, bada bing, bada boom. And I used that point right here to use the jack. I also use this point to do the other one that what I said was a pain, which is going to be right side engine or driver's side of the car. But that's what I used to lift it up and kind of hold it in place. And then you would just give it a little bit more, a little bit less, because if your motor mounts are shot, your engine's probably going to sit lower than what you need when you get the new ones in there. Let me climb back out and I'll show you a couple other things. Alright, some of the things to know if you do have a bad motor mount is you're going to have excessive vibration, probably some knocking sounds. What I was noticing is I was very loud vibrating inside the car, but when it came out I wasn't hearing it. It sounded like it was all coming from this area. I also had it in 5th gear, and I would just give it gas, let off, give it gas, and I would hear a knock noise, which, you know, I'm guessing would be something playing around and shifting. And it was also pulling pretty hard to the left, and that's another sign of it too. I wasn't able to find how to tell if you had bad motor mounts on a manual transmission engine, but on automatics, when you go to put it in gear, have somebody, you know, a friend with you, have them put it in gear and hold the brake. When they do that, this whole engine will just shift pretty aggressive. It obviously shouldn't do that. You should have some slight change in the engine, but not like an aggressive movement. With me by myself, I just reached back on the throttle body back there and I revved it, and it had a significant kind of torque, you know, twist to it, but you know, not too crazy. But one things I noticed on some of these motor mounts, let's see, my rear one was fine. It had a lot of, you know, kind of play to it. Which one was it? Was it this one that was pretty bad? This is the one that was in the front, and this one was probably just giving all kinds of hell. Obviously, that's pretty bad. So good thing that was the one in the front of the engine. You know, it was pretty bad. This is the left one that I thought was giving me the most hell. I don't see anything too crazy with this one, so it could have been that front one that was just giving me all the trouble. I'm sorry. This is the passenger side car one. This was the driver's side one. This one's, I guess, has got a hydraulic sort of deal, and that's at least what they call it. I don't know much about this one. Yeah, and there's quite a bit of movement here and some wear. Haven't had a chance to even pull these off. Well, that one actually tore off. You can see where it's separated there, you know, or it kind of goes on. But, you know, 18-year-old car. This car needed to get changed. But with mine, you know, with the power steering pump now, I got out of the way. It was leaking all over the alternator, and then I had to clean around the block and everything. I mean, this car needed some TLC for sure. But if you have any questions, I'll do the best I can to answer you guys. Just, you know, leave it in the comment section. Again, I'll post the links of a few places I went to grab some parts. And then it should be it. It was doable by yourself. I did it by myself. It wasn't too hard. It was just, you know, it was painful when I had the wrong motor mount and I didn't want to wait days. Luckily, I was able to get it, and then I dropped the bolt in there last night, and this morning, refreshed, was able to get it and just finish off that motor mount. But all in all, not a very bad job, and my swear jar is not full at all because I really didn't swear very much. But again, just leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. This is my first car video, and I'll definitely try to help you guys out the best I can. excuse me, with a 2005 Kia Spectra 5 with a manual transmission. Alrighty guys, take care. Peace.